Students, hello. Let's talk about section 8.4, multiplying special cases. So what we're doing, friends, is we are multiplying a binomial times itself, also known as squaring a binomial. Now, when you square a binomial, do not ever do this. This is not the frying pan rules. This is not a plus b squared, and then you sprinkle in the... No. Never, ever will these things ever look like something squared plus something squared. Never, ever. They actually turn into a trinomial. And as you can see here, I have kind of the first part boxed in, a circle in the middle, and the last part boxed in. There is a special case in these situations. There's a special pattern where you can do these squares very, very quickly. So let's start nice and slow, and then I'll explain to you why I have these things highlighted. Okay, so x plus 5 squared. Okay, we are simplifying a binomial that's squared. Now, what is a binomial squared? It's a binomial times itself. So technically what we got here is we got a binomial times a binomial. So if I go super slow, as you can see, I already have a polybox set up. I'm taking two things times two things. Okay, this whole thing would turn into x squared plus 10x plus 25. Students, it almost looks like I start with an x squared, I end with a 5 squared, and then I have a double 5x in the middle. I have a double combo. I have a double product. Because I took 5 times x once, and then I took 5 times x a second time. So there's two 5x's. Weird. So look at this. First thing squared. Second thing squared. What do you mean by things? The first term and the second term. First term squared, second term squared, and then a double combo in the middle. There's no way it could be that easy. Let's try a plus 9 squared with the FOIL method. Here we go. First, a squared outside 9a. I apologize, I picked a 9 and an a for my variables. I'll think ahead next time. And then, another 9 times a, and then a 9 times 9. Oh, weird. A squared plus 9 is 18a plus 81. Weird. First thing squared, second thing squared, double combo in the middle. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just show you what's up now. Okay? So these will always work. You can always go back to this. There is no excuse for you doing it wrong because you can always go back and do it with a few more extra steps. The whole point of this lesson is the ability to do this. And if you can't, then you can always go back to those two methods, okay? So I make this little organizer here. I make a little loop, and I do two arrows. So I square the first thing. I make a double combo. A single combo would be 2 times y. A double combo would be 4 y's. And then a 2 squared is a 4, okay? It's all positive, so plus and plus, boom, I'm done, okay? This whole thing would turn into a y squared plus a 4y plus a 4. If you don't believe me, make a polybox, prove me wrong, okay? So 2b plus 6 squared. I square the first thing. Now 2b squared actually would be a 4b squared. You got to square the 2b times itself. So that'd be a 4b squared. 2b times 6, a single 2b times 6 would be a 12b. If I doubled that, I'd have a 24b, okay? Again, if you don't understand where the doubling comes from, it's always these pieces. These pieces should always be the same. There's 2 of them, so just double it. And then 6 squared is 36. There we go. 4b squared plus 24b plus 36. Again, if you don't believe me, if you don't think this shortcut works, make a polybox, prove me wrong. Okay, first thing squared. Second thing squared. That's actually what I do. I actually do the first thing squared, the second thing squared, and then I save the middle for the last move. 25y squared. A single combo would be 5 times 15, 5 times 3 is 15xy. A double would be a 30xy. Again, if you don't know where I'm getting that from in my mind, I'm getting it from doing this in my mind. There you go. So that's it. That's literally it. That's the pattern. If you don't understand the pattern, if you can't physically or mentally figure it out, excuse me, not physically, but if you cannot figure out this pattern, guess what? You can always use one of these. And these will work every single time, okay? So instead of going from the beginning here, I'm going to go backwards here, okay? So I don't know, Mr. K, there's no way you can do this. Well, look at down here. I basically have the same binomials, but all of them have a minus in the middle. So the only difference is if it's a positive here, it's all positives through. But if it's a negative here, there's only a negative there, and it's still a positive. Why? Why? No, that's not in the pattern. Positive, I don't get it. Watch and learn. Here we go. So if I have 3x minus 5y squared, that's 3x minus 5y times itself. So hey, look, oh, look, here's the 9x squared. Negative 5 times the negative 3 is a negative 15xy. Excuse the bell. There's another negative 15xy. And then, oh, look, a negative times a negative is a positive 25y squared. So that's why the last term is always positive, because if you take a negative times a negative, you all can finish that sentence. Okay, so the only difference basically between this one and this one is we have a 9x squared minus a 30xy plus a 25y squared. Okay, there you go. So here, oh, let's do the FOIL method. Here we go. 2b minus 6 times 2b minus 6. That's what squared means. Okay, so 2b times 2b would be a 4b squared. That's where I got the 4b squared from. Because you got to take 2b times itself. Outside, negative 12b. Inside, negative 12b. Hey, there's my double combos. Negative 6 times negative 6 is a positive 36. 4b squared minus 24b plus a 36. So notice it's almost the exact same thing up here. Plus, plus, minus, minus. You always end with a positive square. Okay, now here we go. Fast forward mode. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and do the shortcut for all three of these. Square the first thing, square the last thing, double combo in the middle. Always a plus 25. There we go. Square the first thing, square the last thing, double combo in the middle. Square the first thing, square the last thing, double combo in the middle. That's it. Done. That's how fast these can go. If you don't want to do them that fast, you can always use a polybox. Okay, that's it. That's literally all what 8-4 is about. I'm sorry, there's one more coming up next.